Good afternoon and very welcome to all of you. I'm Alex Gamerman, and together with Vladimir, we're co-chairing this symposium of statistical learning and data sciences. We're very pleased to tell you that there are people from 17 different countries came to this symposium. But our afternoon will be devoted to our keynote speaker, Professor Vladimir Vapnik. Vladimir Vapnik doesn't need any introduction. However, just for a newcomer to this field, maybe a few words will be useful to remind you. Professor Vapnik got his first degree in 1958 in mathematics. And from 1961 to 1990, he was working in one of the biggest establishments in the Soviet Union in Moscow, in the Institute of Control Sciences. From 1991, he moved to AT&T Bell Labs in New Jersey. And in 1995, he became a professor of computer science and statistics in Royal Holloway in the Department of Computer Science. And also in 1998, he helped to create a new computer learning research center. Professor Vapnik published over 100 different papers and published 8 monographs, including The Nature of Statistical Learning Theory and Statistical Learning Theory, published by Wiley and Springer correspondingly. In 1998, we had here the symposium called The Importance of Being Learnable, and Professor Vapnik participated in this symposium together with Alexei Chervonenkis, Yor Marisonen, Ray Solomonov, and Chris Bolas. It was a very good gathering of people who set up a whole field of machine learning. Professor Vapnik has a lot of awards from different bodies, and in 2006 he was elected to the National Engineering Academy of the United States. He also had many medals, including the Franklin Rosenblatt Award and Benjamin Franklin Medal. And I would like now all of you to welcome Professor Vapnik to his keynote speech.
Good afternoon, and thank you for introduction. 7 months ago, tragically died Alexei Chervonenkis. He was one of the greatest modern scientists. And today my talk and my tomorrow talk will be devoted to his memory. I will not talk now about Alexei Chervonenkis, but in my today talk I would like to introduce some new approach to learning, which include teaching, because till now we are considered teachers in the learning process. And you will see how deeply everything connected to the work which was done by Alexei Chervonenkis many, many years ago. Let me start my talk. All of us, I think, remember perceptron of Rosenblatt, the first machine which commit machine learning. So I will not talk about how constructed this machine, but it was some special construction, and people start to develop this direction. They introduced neural network and many, many other different directions. But from point of view of general point of view of Alexei Chervonenkis, and it doesn't matter how this connected with neurons and how to construct, how to build your function. The mathematical story is that you have a set of functions which given just geometry of your construction, and you have a set of parameters in neural network that weights. And your goal is to pick up one function from the set of functions, just to have to fix parameters. It doesn't matter how we construct this, which algorithm you're using. It should be some general properties of how to solve this problem, how to pick up good function from the set of functions. What is philosophical nature of this choice? So during 70, it was constructed by Alexei and myself, this theory, which states the following, that there exist two and only two factors responsible for generalization. The word only is extremely important. There are no another factor. There is only two factors responsible for generalization. Why is almost obvious we should minimize percent of training errors. The smaller training error you will do on your observations, it is better. And the second is not trivial factor, which was introduced in the beginning of synthesis, called capacity of the set of functions. And capacity, it was introduced in two versions. One version is VC dimension of the set of functions. You're probably more familiar with this term. And another version is VC entropy of the set of functions. So the first VC dimension is, gives the necessary and sufficient condition. Using VC dimension, we can formulate the necessary condition for consistency of the learning processes for any probability measure. For using VC entropy, we can give necessary and sufficient conditions for fixed probability measure. So, and everything between them can be by combination of these two concepts. But then, of his life, Alexei Chevanetkis tried to prove that it is impossible in other concepts. He proved that if entropy over a number of observations does not go to zero, which requires our theorems, then it's impossible to learn. There are no algorithms which can do something. So it is fundamental concept of what going on. Even more, in this theory was developed bounds, lower and upper bounds. I wrote this upper bound for the set of function, this finite VC dimension. So let's see upper bound and includes lower bound. But also it was proven, and it is very important for my story, that when on the training set you make no error, it is very particular case, and you have no error on the training set, you have better bound. Instead of square root from this dimension over number of observations, you have just this dimension over number of observations. And it was proven that this bound achievable. You cannot improve that. So, also in the framework of VC theory was developed a method called structural risk minimization. You just create structure on the set of functions and minimizing your risk along the structure. And it was proven that if you use structure risk minimization, which in fact minimizes the right hand side of the equation, you always converge to the weighted solution, to the best possible solution. So it looks like the theory, VC theory, which was developed in the 70s, answered all standard questions about machine learning models. However, as always, devil is in details. It was observed that human students do much better in the number of examples than machine. Machine needs much more examples than humans. And the question arises, why human students require for learning much less examples than machine? And the answer is, Japanese product gives this answer. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with great teacher. So Japanese people know that they should study this great teacher, but in machine learning, in very beginning, in setting, in 50 years of analysis of machine learning, there are no teachers. It's just trivial teachers. Give for every x it's labeled y, and then machine should do something about that. I call this trivial teacher because in machine learning terminology, people use word teacher. But instead of trivial teacher, let us introduce, I would like to introduce in my talk, intelligent teacher. And I propose that intelligent teacher can use two additional mechanisms to machine learning, which can boost performance and require much less examples. In fact, my talk will be about that classical existing machine learning paradigm is nothing more than function estimation using data. It is classical statistical problem of function estimation. So we don't need to call it differently. Not machine learning, standard estimation of function. Everybody who does is just estimate function from the data. But machine learning, the learning started when you introduce a teacher and can beat in trying to beat brute force method of mathematical function. Let me introduce concept of intelligent teacher. What is intelligent teacher? So we know that during learning process, intelligent teachers apply training examples with additional information, which can include comments, comparison, explanation, logical, emotional, and metaphoric reasoning, and so on. I will give examples for that. And privilege to information exists for almost any learning problem. I would say it for any learning problem. And it can play a crucial role in learning process. It can significantly increase the speed of learning. This is what I will talk about. So let me start a little bit more formal. What is the classical learning model? Given pairs x and y, L pairs, x from space x, y can take two values, -1 or +1. Let's consider the simplest one. Say 5 and there is this distribution on the x. Find among a given set of functions one that minimizes the probability of errors. That is standard machine learning technique. Data training data, you go to one function which gives you the smallest probability of error. Let us consider new sets. You have triplets, x star, y. You have L triplets. X comes from the space x, and what is the most important that x star comes from another space, x star space, which is different, can be different from the space x. It can be the same, but most interesting situation when it's different. And also you have y, where x star is generated by intelligent teacher according to some distribution. So intelligent teachers, it is generated of new information, x star given x. Maybe we can discuss what is that, but when you're talking about intelligence, someone should generate intelligence. So let's do conditional density probability x given x star given x. Then have these triplets, find among the given set of functions one that minimize the probability of test error. The goal is exactly the same, to find the best function which will classify for reverse samples. But here we have additional information and stuff. And this information is given to do it fast, to do it much faster than when you have most information. And then what is most important, that this is privileged information will be given only for training examples. When you cooperate with students, when you work with students, you will have some additional information. When you're working alone with no teacher, so you will not have privileged information. Only during training stage, you have privileged information which comes from your teacher because he generates. So let's come to perceptron and generalize perceptron using SVM. So perceptron was developed for separable case. Let us consider separable case. So that's what is SVM. We have to maximize value of margin given that we can separate our training data. And in our very first paper, Alexei Chervanyakis, we just show that in this situation this dimension over number of observations. So you can see this margin, we choose the biggest margin, we separate training data, and then this machine will converge its rate of convergence 1 over n. But in general case, when we have non-separable case, the situation is different. First of all, we should formulate what we want. We want to minimize this function out. And here you have slack variance in this term, which is subtracted from the norm. So you can have error. But you would like to have a small number of slack variables. But you can't have a small number, you minimize the sum of slack variables. Slack is not negative. So this is also quadratic factorization problem. You can solve this problem, but theorem says that in this case you will have frequency of training error. How many errors you have? Frequency of training error on the training data, plus some confidence interval, and here you have stability. And you cannot improve that. So the crucial question, why so? Why when you have separable case, you have rate of convergence 1 over n, and when you have non-separable case, it is square root of 1 over n. But it is huge difference, I show as well. And the probable answer is following. In separable case, we want to estimate n parameters for all hyperbole. So you have vector W, and we would like to estimate parameters of vector W in space. That's n parameters. We have L observations, and you have using L observation estimate n parameters. So in this case, we will have order of magnitude this, because the number of observations will increase. We still need to calculate n parameters. In non-separable case, it is different. You have slack variables, and you have to estimate n parameters. In this case, for W vector, still you have to do. And also L parameters of slack. And L will be as many observations. So you have using L observations. It doesn't matter that most of slack variables will be 0. You still need to estimate all of them. So the guess is maybe story just in this fact that we need to estimate n plus L parameters to make all of them. So while you have square root, it is good because you have to estimate many parameters, but these parameters that we still can do something. say that instead of slugs, I can consider slug function, which from every fixed x gives you value of slugs. So just that is theoretical construction. And sigma, it is parameter which gives you the slug function. So if I say nothing, then the dimension of this set of functions will be infinite, because slug can be any slug, any value of slug. So I can reformulate in non-separable case. I have to pick up one function from the set of functions is finite dimension, and the second function from the set of functions is infinite dimension. Maybe this is why we have square root phenomenon. Well, let's fix this situation. We can fix it. We can consider a set of parametric set of functions is finite dimension, say, which has m parameters. And in this situation, in non-separable case, you have to estimate m parameters for separating hyperplane and parameters using observation for slugs. Maybe this can help. Maybe this can do better rate of convergence. And key observations, so-called oracle scale. Suppose my intelligent teacher is so smart that it can give me, instead of x star, just value of slug. It can give me value of slug. Then what I have to do in non-separable case, I should have to maximize not double digit. And here I should, under constraint, that this hyperplane is larger than Ry, where Ry is 1 minus slug. I actually do exactly the same like in non-separable case. You see here, I have 1 minus side, and here, as soon as I have slugs, I can skip this. Well, in this case, we can prove that we provide this probability 1 on 1 set. We have a test error, which is frequency of training plus some confidence interval where we don't have 1 over square root of L, we have 1 over L. It looks like our guess is correct. If our guess is correct, so this is example how it's going on. Just we have 2 models in 2-dimensional case, this Bayesian root 12 or 5, something like that. And this, how it works as SVM always converge to Bayesian solution. And how it works SVM which using order, which using slugs. It also converges to the same Bayesian, but much faster. So we want to converge faster. Maybe this story. But of course, a real teacher doesn't know slugs. It can tell you slugs and it will be useful. But he knows something else. He can introduce U space, X star space. And he can make set of functions with finite decisions. And you can try to estimate slug from this set of functions. Which is, and during training session, X star Y, you just estimated 2 things. You estimated slugs, because you know parametric set of functions. And you estimated your double loop. And that is exactly what we did when we consider oracle scale. So then there is a theorem which says that you have confidence interval 1 over L plus 1 term, and this term depends solely on space X star. It depends on how smart is teacher. So if teacher is smart, so then you can have confidence interval 1 over L. If he's stupid, you can do nothing. It will be limitation. Limitation will come from the. So what is bottom line? The bottom line is that we need teacher in this situation to boost performance from the square root from L to 1 over L. So with no teacher we cannot do that because all bounds are achievable. But this is a lot. What it means? It means that we need square root from L examples instead of L examples. So instead of 100 observations, we can use 300 observations. And something like that. Also, I would like to stress that this reasoning is just for SVM, because in SVM we have slot and explicit form. You will not see this in this square bracket and all. So for regression, for SVM regression, we will have the same. But as soon as you put your slots under carpet, you will not be able to boost the performance. But this is a special way how to do that. So if it's so, let's try and prove SVM to use additional, I call it predictive parameters. So what is SVM? SVM classical scheme, you have pairs, x, y, then you map vector x in high dimensional, in some zeta space. And you can start separating hyperplane in zeta space, that means you minimize this functional under this constraint. So the new trick comes that we will use inner product in space of zeta, like kernel, k, x, y, x, j. I hope that everybody knows Mercer kernel can play this trick, so you have kernel trick to use that new thing. And when we solve everything, we have the solution, and that's what SVM is about. We will have this decision rule, it is formula number 2, and to have a cohesions on that sort of it says that this decision rule is the expansion on the kernel in the support vectors. And that to have cohesions of expansion, you have to maximize this function, no? Under this constraint. And what is important? That we have two formulas come kernel. But these kernels coming in these formulas in different sense. Here we're using kernel like some sources of expansion of function. As soon as we keep x, y, we keep function for expansion. So it's playing one role. But here it's playing different role. You have k, x, y, x, j. It's role of similarity between two vectors. Why one kernel have played two different roles? Can it happen that it can be contradiction between them? Just keep in mind. Let's do new thing where you have triplets. We do exactly the same that we did before. The mapping x in the zeta, x star in the zeta star. It's another space, it's different space. But why is the same? And here we're introducing slab variables exactly like we did for decision rule in linear function in the space zeta star. And then we can rewrite our expression. It is nothing new. It's definition of support vector machine where instead of slab sign, you just write the expression. So you have to maximize this function under this constraint. And here you use two kernels. So two versus kernels, one for space x and another for space x star. So actually it is nothing new. It is the same SVM, but we're trying to estimate slots simultaneously with estimating function. So if you will go through all these remarks, we will end with the following. The solution is given by expansion of the one of the first kernel. It's exactly as it was to support vector machine. But to find coefficients of expansion, you have to maximize this function, which has an index there. Is k, x star, y, x star, j, subject to this constraint. So if you will remove this part, you will have classical state. So, but here we have something else. What it means physically? It means the teacher tried to correct similarity which has a student from this space using another space. It is correction of concept of similarity for student. It is an important part, and I will come to this after I will introduce several examples, and we will discuss that is new philosophy of learning. But let me give you several examples that you to have a feeling what we're talking about. This is problem of giving amino acid sequences of protein separate in the families. It is difficult problem, but if you have description of 3D molecule, you can easily do that because 3D molecule contains all information about molecule, and of course you want. Now, but let's use it like privileged information. So teacher show you sequences, this, and also show you 3D. That is during training stage. But during testing, he will not show you 3D because he don't have it. So if you train all this procedure, you will have the following answer. It never was false. But sometimes you have a small grain. Sometimes you have a huge grain, say, 5 times less number. And this is the table for the same. So here you have 3 times less, here you have 10 times less, and so on. But here you don't have any. It is perfectly fine. Why? Let me give you another example. There is a mineral, java, and it's the hardest mineral in the world. It has 10 for hardness. And there is another mineral, graphite, pencil. It is very soft. Is value 2 or 3, and you can use in pencil because it is soft. So what is the difference between them? Just structure. They contain the same element of carbon. So the same can happen when you use 3D information to improve sequences. Maybe everything depends on structure, not just content of that. So that is explanation. Another example, time series prediction. So you say you observe some time series and you would like to predict what's happening in delta T time. Suppose you would like to predict what's happening in stocks and week. So you have historical data, you classical, you have description what happens the week before and why it is what it is. That is normal. Or here in pattern conditions, you would like to know, is it will go so, goes up or down? It is enough to set it or why. You don't even wait. And let us consider the previous information. You have this week before, it is blood process. And we would like to predict what's happening in the week, which is red cross. But we use historical data. But in historical data, just on information what's happened, say 2 days before prediction, 2 days after prediction, you have all this information, previous. You don't have it when you will do real prediction. You need to predict in a week. When you historical data, you training data, you perfectly have it. So, and you have improvement, and this is explanation. So when you construct a regression function, you have normal noise, everything is good like that. And you would like to construct regression, and you know that it is linear regression. So you can easily to compute what is variance, and the biggest variance is on the edges, and the smallest is in the middle. And this way, this privileged information, try to push you in another direction to have a small variance. That's what's happening in real data. This is prediction 1 step, 1 step ahead, 5 steps ahead, 8 steps ahead. You see what does SVM classical. It is the most. Then SVM plus has SVM just another slots in screen. And you have all SVM because we use model example we can construct. Many examples we can construct. Bayesian rules have slots. So you have Oracle SVM. And you have what is Bayesian. And you see that in reality you can just expect that you will do between whatever SVM does and Oracle SVM. That is area of improvement. But to get as good as Bayesian, we really need nothing. And that it happens for 1 step ahead, 5 steps ahead, 8 steps ahead, and this is really the size of training data, 100. And that is the most important example which I would like to give you. I want you to understand this, because we will discuss a lot. So, because it called holistic description as belief. Because it is important, we just would like to demonstrate on previous tests. Our goal is just separate files from me. It is easy problem to make it into part. We scale, say, 28 by 28 pixels, that is how each is described, by 10 by 10. So instead of this file is what this file, this file. And then we created triplets. X description of X and Y. So to create privileged information, I asked my friend, who is professor of poetry of Moscow University, just to describe how she sees this video. What is your impression? What is your feeling about it? And that's how she sees this file. Straightforward, very hard, very muscular, with rather clear intention. A sportsman in war, blah, 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 40 years old. This is about this file. This is a young man, is energetic and seriously absorbed in his career. He's not absolutely precise and everything, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course, you don't understand this thing. You ask him to create a course of that, to give description, features. Should develop these features. And also should code every image because you don't understand. Say, feminine, muscular, she understands what she has in mind. So we have a code 10 by 10 for digit. And we have 31-dimensional code for pointing description of it. And everything is in what you can see. Picture description, code. And that's what's happening. This is CSVM. This is what you can do with privileged information. And this is Oracle, because we have a lot of digits we can construct, Bayesian rules we can do for. And this is a good thing. And this is for different sizes of the So let me come back to equation which I show for privileged information when we have two similarity equations. I just realized this slide, with one exception I gave another title, but don't hit the balls and use the ball. That's what told me my friend who studied how to play golf. And when he studied his coaching, he explained how to hit ball. He said, don't hit the balls and use the ball. And every time when he hit a ball, he explained that you doing this like macho. It is not working. You're not involved in ball. You do simply play ball yourself. Or another, you don't, you're too polite, you don't know what you want, talks about it. So he used this language. And my friend told me that very soon he understands what coach wants. Because if you consider X space, it is position of legs, position of hands, angle which you take, velocity, and all of this technical description. This is very difficult to explain. But instead, this teacher, which is intelligent because he generated probability of X star given X from X space, he generated this fantasy about seducing more. And that is the metaphorical formation, the most important. So that you have a feeling about this term. Here, language doesn't play any role. Because in this equation, you have just Greek, you have star X, star Y, star J. So you can use any language you want, any nonsense. So while teacher can talk nonsense, sometimes it's very important nonsense. So this is one trick which can play teacher. And now I would like to tell you about another more important trick which plays the teacher. It is knowledge transfer mechanism. Second, knowledge transfer. What is that? You have three bits. X star, Y. In fact, we can consider two pattern recognition problems. One pattern recognition problem is using data X, Y, find the rule in space X. And another problem using pairs X star, Y, find the rule in space Fx. Suppose that best rule in space X star can be as good as the best rule in space. Then, if you have a knowledge about rule in space X star, can this help us to create good rule in space X? That's just one way. But to give you a clue what we're talking about, let me give you an example. Suppose you would like to teach students to separate biopsy, in biopsy picture of cancer from picture of non-cancer. You have a picture, some description in pixel space. And you have also a report of pathologies. You can write aggressive proliferations of cell of type I or cell of type B, or absence of any or any dynamic in standard pictures. Suppose that in space X exists a rule that can separate this language which invent pathologies, but pathologies invent not only language. Here, this language is based on the model which was described. We know that bad cells and good cells, and that is the reason for cancer. This language trying to describe what's going on this level. So suppose that on this level we can construct a rule which separates cancer from non-cancer, not force then the rule which separates cancer from cancer in biopsy. So can this help? Can this help knowledge about how mechanism cancer can help you to create a rule to recognize in the pixel space. And why it is useful? So, explanation is the following. Pixel space is extremely rich. In pixel space, you can describe not only cancer cells from non-cancer cells, but say you can ask to distinguish night girl, Italian origin, night girl, Japanese origin. It is universal. So the dimension in this space is huge. But in the second space, you have different situation. It is language which invented specially for cancer. And the capacity of the set of functions in this space is much less, this dimension is much less than that. So the second term is much less, so why you can hope that in the second space you can construct rule better than you can construct from the fixed number of observations. Your rule will be better than for the same fixed number of observations in the pixel space. Now, if you have this good rule, you would like to transfer the knowledge in the pixel space. Your knowledge about mechanism translated to the pixel space. So in the 50s, it was introduced concept of knowledge representation. What is that? So first of all, you should estimate, you should find fundamental elements of knowledge. Then they have frames of knowledge, frames of fragment of knowledge. Yeah, I talked about space X star. And then you have structure of knowledge, how it connected in space. Now let us consider this support definition. Fundamental concept, elements of knowledge, can be defined, say, by support vectors, but it is too many. Maybe there exists U star in this case, some vectors which you can invent, some that your function can be approximately presented using this fundamental concept of knowledge. And this is your frames. Because you know that your decision rule is expansion of the kernel. So if you know fundamental concept of knowledge, you can say that Kx U star X is fragment of the knowledge, is frame of the knowledge. And so you have frame of the knowledge. And then if you have frame of the knowledge, maybe it is part of the knowledge, because you have frame and you have structure, that you have linear combination of the frame. That's what it is like. It is very difficult because it is function which contain fragments from function plus some linear combination of fragments. So now the idea is, can we just estimate image of frame in space X, and that is simpler than just estimate function, because image of frame is only a small part of my knowledge. So if I will be able to do that, then my solution will be like that in space X. So that is my plan, and I will do that. So I hope that you know what is the reproducing kernel in the space, but it doesn't matter if you don't know. So you would like to find, this is, say, your solution, and here you have support vector machine solution in space X star, and to find the smallest number of fundamental concept of knowledge, you have to minimize all UK, which is any vector in space group has k vectors. You have to find k vectors and k coefficients of expansion. So for reproducing kernels of the space, it has this expansion which depends just which doesn't have free element X star. If you minimize that, you will find U, K, and beta K, but it is extremely difficult computational approach. So you need to minimize something which comes in your kernel, and also coefficients of the kernel. It's highly non-linear situation. So it looks like it is impossible to do. But fortunately, there is one kernel where it can be solved easily. It is a square kernel. It was discovered in mid-90s by Chris Buttis. And he showed that to find fundamental concept of knowledge, you have to solve eigenvalue decomposition problem, which X are support vectors and alpha expansion of the support vector. So you create this matrix. You solve this define your fundamental concept. So, and he showed that on path recognition problem how much it decrease number of support vectors. So it's about 20 times, more than 20 times. When you separate 0 from the rest, you have 10 instead of 29. And some you have 150 over 20. It can be done even better if you consider fundamental concept of knowledge for all 10 minutes. So there is way to do it fast and very easy. So you have frames after we have fundamental concept. And then let's talk about images. What is image? I would like to have a function which is expectation over x star given x using this conditional property. So actually it is problem of regression. Now if I define this concept define in space x of the frames, then to find a regression I need to solve the following problem. I need to solve this. I can estimate value k x uk x star y, and that's the value y. And x is just x. So I have description of regression problem. I solve regression problem, and I have my function. So, and that's a special case. If I do that, in two-dimensional case, that is my S, that is my eigenvalues. So, then if I will have regression problem and regression input, I even don't need to estimate parameters. B is the same like in space x star. So, but we can unify. It is two different mechanisms which use each. One mechanism to control similarity of the elements in training, and another mechanism to transfer your knowledge. So to do that, we can combine both of these mechanisms to create new rule. I don't want to talk about that. It is just a technique, and you will have the solution in space of features subject to find expansion. You should not deny expansion. So actually, the problem of using teachers' mechanism have a simple solution which is not more difficult than So then I would like to come to fundamentals. What actually we do? So let us come back to VC theory, which just says the probability of your tester less than frequency of training error plus confidence interval. And here you can see delta. And when I talk about VC theory, I told you that this delta can be 0.5 square root from all this stuff, or it can be 1. And can be always between square root and 1. So this parameter which you would like to control. So when we try to use similarity measure, we try to control this parameter. We still use structural discrimination, but in our formula, teacher change 1 over square root to just 1. That's way where it is. Another way is DC dimension. Instead of DC dimension of the space x, teacher can use DC dimension in space x star. Also, the game is ratio of this dimension in space S to this dimension in space S. So this looks like two mechanisms, only two mechanisms. I talked about bounds because I cannot see these bounds. Imagine, but it would be very interesting just to understand what game can play the teacher, if not class physicist. Then let us talk to what's going on in machine learning. In machine learning, people use algorithms which are called brute force. Just we're talking about statistical method of function estimation. Give data, estimate function, nothing more. But say in end of 50s, 60s, people became so bold to start to estimate high-dimensional function, and it worked. And that is experimental discovery of pattern. Because before, people did not believe that we can do it in high-dimensional space, but empirically we found that we can, and we're successful with that. But fundamentals, it doesn't consider high-dimensional space, low-dimensional space. It is the same. It is the same estimating function, but now, because we have great computers, we estimate on high-dimensional space. So, we would like to play better than brute force mathematical estimation of function. To play better, we should introduce some intelligent functions. And that is the teacher. And what teacher does, teacher talks us. Teacher generates information. Sometimes it looks stupid. It's metaphoric reasoning. But what is great is that this metaphoric reasoning contains a lot of information. When I understood this, I just came to Moscow University, to psychology department. And in psychology department there is a great guy, Vladimir, who all his life studied metaphoric reasoning. And I asked him, what psychologists know about that? And he told me, we know nothing about it. But my great teachers taught me exactly in this metaphoric way. So, I would like to finish my talk just quoting some literature that people use in machine learning. So this quote from Vibe magazine. We can stop looking for model, we can analyze the data without hypothesis about what it means. We can throw the numbers into the biggest computing clusters in the world, and the whole scene, and do whatever you want. Just very brave guy. That pure brute force. What is wrong with this? The bottleneck is not in computation power. It is a number of examples. He did not discuss how many examples to do that. And all the statistical results, and tomorrow I will give another talk, I will show that, say, risk square method currently nothing, and statistical method currently nothing, and you should do something about that. So, to do something better than brute force, we should use intelligent part. But intelligent part is something which comes from generator. I'm not ready today to talk about that, but and also I would like to mention that, yeah, I forgot karma count also. Karma count. I hope that you know what means karma count. So in Philippines, so people Aboriginals see that comes karma, and it comes because they saw the Japanese soldiers give some signals, and then comes plane and bring cargo. Then Japanese soldiers gone, comes American. It was the same picture, and they decided that it is some boats sending some cargo with goods, but if they will pray like white people did, so they behave like that, you come up. So the countries have to do, have going on, have to do things, not what is going on, what is the foundation of mathematics. It's a lot of research in machine learning of hard type. So from my point of view, maybe I don't deploy this hard type. It is good because many things, not because what mathematically they do, what gives them that, but because we imitate human beings. And the last, I want just to quote Karl Popper idea. The science starts with problems rather than observations. And this mathematical approach is understanding what should be done, but not with heuristic and not, So thank you.
Any questions, comments, anything go?
It's all I would like to say for previous time to give your token on the software vision you made. My question is it not a game of changing assumptions? Because in learning we assume that we have all the knowledge already, and we end up again with essentially the same type of model, but simply we divide the data into two types. So one type of data is available, the other is recalled. It's a little bit like a game. We didn't change too much.
From my understanding, it is a very general approach to all statistical problems. If you're talking philosophically, so you're interested in decision to make in some space, in space of decision space, like Tokyo decision. But you can use also simultaneously this decision space, knowledge space, second space. And knowledge space can help you a lot. Until now, we ignore knowledge space. Everything which we do in decision space. But the question is, maybe we should reconsider our behavior. It's not only for mathematics. It is for regression, for any problem, anything. If you would like to estimate something in one space, you can consider second space and do it. But space should be smart, should reflect something. And this exists in the world. It is another story how we build. So I think that we're on the edge of reconsidered philosophy. From my point of view, I just love the idea of Vladimir, of existing of ideas and of things that maybe it's too surface that I don't know. But if you will ask me about philosophy, that is philosophy.
Any more?